So we're fourth generation farm. Bradley's going to be the fourth generation. Just for the people that are from Manitoba, Saskatchewan, the rest of the world, the U.S., our farm is a 100-year award farm. Grandpa came in March 18th, 1918, at the age of 18, at 1,800 hours is when he came in with 3 wagons. 2 were hooked up, one was hooked up to horses and 2 others to oxen. The reason I say it's for other people, they said, why would you bring bulls to the Peace Country? He's there, well, 2 reasons. He's there, there's more muscle. They could pull more than what horses can. And he did freight up at Dunvegan before the rubber wheel was, the tire was done. And he's there, there's another reason. I said, what's that? He's there, I come from France. I eat enough horse meat. If we get hungry, we're going to eat Alberta beef. So there you go from there. Wild oats, I'm off topic here a bit, but I did ask about wild oats, and he's there, if there's any scientist that tells you wild oats came from Europe, I'll tell you a different story. He's there. We stopped to, I guess it's called a mission back then in Gruard, where you go get your license for your quarter section of land, and you keep on going. He's there, the natives sold me black oats, and he's there. Now you got it for the next 4 generations, so that's where it came from. He's there, I did not bring it, but anyhow. Other than that, I'll give Ken, and you can go at it.
Well, I'll talk off the mic.
Oh, you want to introduce yourself? Or
yeah, I'll introduce.
Oh, you're going to run the button?
Yeah, I'll
okay.
just run the button here.
Looks like a combine.
Okay, I'm Ken Gagnon. I farm out in the White Mud Creek area. I don't have the elaborate story that Danny has about my family history. My dad came into the White Mud area in about 1965, started a homestead, started annual cropping then, and in the late 70s started growing fescue because everybody else in our area was growing fescue. So basically I learned how to grow grass when I was a young kid, doing the old with a companion crop, and I was always wondering why we weren't getting a strong establishment. And so I went to college in Fairview, got a degree in agriculture there, came back, and the neighbors and everything were doing it the same way, and I told Dad, and we just had an old box drill at the time, and I said, let's just try doing some of this just direct seeding. And we did one little chunk. He wouldn't let me do a whole quarter, we just did a little chunk. And we found that our establishment took right off. So that's basically how I started in the fescue. Dad grew Timothy, red clover, Elsyke, and I came back and I started going back into grass seed probably 15, 20 years ago. I grew red clover and saw a little bit of Timothy and all that before that, and then about 2010 or something, I decided I'm going to try brome grass. So that was my start, black seeded brome grass, and creeping red fescue, and here I am today, trying to tell you guys how to set a combine. So.
Well, I'm going to say I'm not trying to tell them this is the way I do it, but anyhow, I guess that's what we're trying to get at. So we're not here for that. I'd have to say if you got anything in your hopper that's 5-10% dockage, you guys know what you're doing. If you got anything from 15 to 50% dockage, you might want to listen. I don't know. I guess I got a couple of seed houses that said it's kind of nice to have somebody here. Maybe we can get rid of half the storage and bring some seed in instead of dockage. So I guess we're going to start with cleaning equipment, and I think you can see the outline. Principles of harvest are pretty well sort of physics and how we get going. It says here, samples a mess. Now what are you going to do? So in other words, you start going in the field and you look in the back window and you say, oh man, what a mess. Doug, what do I do with it? And they come to me and I said, just give it to Doug Thiessen. I said, I don't want to see it. I don't know if Doug's here, I'm teasing. But yeah, why do we have a mess like that? Why are we doing everything that Calvin says, and the association is part of it? You've fertilized right. You've got supposedly no weeds. You've done everything right, and the last thing you got is a mess because you're doing a mess. It could be cleaning, it could be whatever. So combine settings, I think we agree, we're not talking about weeds.
No.
We're talking about blanks. We're talking about dockage. Somebody's going to ask us, well, what numbers you use for concaves and sieves. We're not even going to talk about that. We'll just talk about the principles of it. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay, just want to illustrate when we start out, it's about getting stuff clean. We don't want no admixtures. Different crops, can really destroy your sample. You bring it to a seed house, you got something that you can't separate. So just having a good look at your bins at first, where bins you're putting in, hopper bins, flat bottom bins, you want to thoroughly clean them out. We have an aeration rocket, like in a epoxy coated bin. You want to check that out because there's lots of little edges in there that can catch stuff up. Another one is with a swather. If you got to swath your crop, you should thoroughly clean that out. Like pull off the canvases, make sure everything's clean around the deck, the rollers. Grain augers. I've seen times when grain augers, that we forgot that there was canola in the darn thing. We didn't clean it out. So cleaning out a grain auger, make sure that's clean. Go ahead, Danny.
Sorry, we're allowed to interrupt anybody, and you guys are allowed to interrupt us with just scream. We're a bunch of farmers. I don't know how you do it. Obviously, you can reverse grain augers.
Yeah.
I just go to, it used to be McLeod's, so I'll go to one of them stores, and I'm going to go buy some softballs. I'll buy 4 of them. And I'm going to go see Roseanne and ask her for a holy or dirty pair of pantyhoses. We'll put them in, we'll tie them in knots, and we'll run that thing through grain auger that does not reverse. So you're scraping the bottom of everything, and you pick it up and do it again, and away you go. Just one trick.
Yep. Yeah. So with us, we have a reversible swing auger, so we'll reverse them, blow them out, and then we will flush them out with whatever crop we're harvesting. Trucks, same thing with trucks. Cleaning, make sure they're clean, nothing's hung up in them. And then we come to the combine. And you can take over, Danny.
Well, this one here is a video I had permission through Canadian Seed Growers Association and to use. They put out a learning curve for select seed growers. If you do the course, you lose 1 year of probation. I know Bradley test drove it, I test drove it too, and he told me to give, I asked for permission to use it, and he said yes, but please help advertise iLearn for him, and I think it's a good course for any new employees that are doing it, all the way to breeders, whether you're select or even a breeder that wants to breed breeder, the whole pedigree system. And we cut out the safety and stuff, but it's not very long. Just go ahead. I guess you hit the button. I'm not sure.
To start cleaning, park the combine into the wind, which will help keep clean areas clean. Begin by opening the rock track and unload auger sump door before moving the combine. After the combine is securely parked and locked out, open all the machine's side and bottom panels as well as access doors. This includes the clean grain sump door, the feeder house cover, header drive belt shields on each side of the head, tailings elevator door, clean grain elevator door, and the access doors to the rotor or threshing area. Cleaning should begin at the combine's head. Clean the machine from top to bottom and from front to back. This will ensure the cleaned areas stay clean. At the head, use the air wand to blow out any loose debris. Check the rock tread for any grain hidden by dust or dirt. Pay attention to any cracks or crevices where seeds may settle, including the hydraulic hoses, electrical wires, reel, cutter bar, and corners leading to the feeder house. The combine head can be ran to loosen trapped seeds. However, before starting the head, make sure everyone is clear of the machine to avoid injury. Lift and secure the head with the head lock and then clear under the platform to remove any trapped seed or plant materials. Once the head is clean, detach it from the combine and move it out of the way. This will prevent any other seed from falling onto the cleaned head. The next area to be cleaned is the grain tank. It may be necessary to remove the grain tank auger covers to have better access to the bottom of the grain tank elevator and auger. Again, remember that different combine brands and models may have different guarding. Clean grain out and blow it through the unload sump door. In the grain tank, you may have to take up the horizontal shields to clean the machine. Clean behind the gear case and under the back of the horizontal augers. Blow all seed toward the grain sump. Carefully clean the auger and trough, the grain sump and shields, the intersection of the grain sump and gear case, and the wall of the grain tank. Also clean the brackets, ledges, and around wires and hoses. Any leftover grain should be vacuumed. Once the grain tank is clean, blow off the top of the combine cab. Begin cleaning the feeder house area by blowing it out. For combine models with a rock trap, it may be necessary to pry loose clumps of lodged material in addition to using compressed air to ensure the area gets clean. Blow off the feeder house by lifting and cleaning under flaps as well as around and underneath the hydraulic hoses. Pay special attention to flaps above the feeder house and underneath the flap in the lower part of the feeder house. Ensure everyone in the field is clear, then run the machine and blow out the feeder house again. To clean the rotor, use the air wand to blow out under the fan, avoiding directing debris toward the clean grain area. Clean the tailing auger troughs and the grain elevator. Running the machine when empty is not enough to fully clean these areas. Use compressed air to blow off the top of the rotor cage, the edges around both sides of the rotor, making sure dust and free grain blows out the back of the machine. Moving towards the back of the combine, blow out auger pans to remove any residual grain. The rails and pans above the sieves should be blown out, aiming away from the combine's interior. Plant material or grain caught in or around the sieves should also be removed downward and out the back. Next, run the machine with all the doors and traps open. Blow out the rotor areas again and vacuum auger pans and other areas as needed. Finally, repeat the process until the machine is clean. Properly cleaning harvest equipment is an important step to ensuring a pure seed supply. Check with your production agronomist to learn of specific cleaning procedures that may be required for specialty traits. Following the steps outlined in this procedure will ensure your combine is cleaned to the Pioneer standard and will help provide high-quality seed to our customers.
Okay. Yeah, another thing I also do when I clean out my combine, I'll remove my sieves right out of the combine. I think I can get over and clean out in between the wires and everything, because there is a lot of times there's a lot of stuff trapped up in there that you can't get out just by blowing it outside like that. And then you can do a good visual inspection on that sieve. So, you know, you can check to see if it's tight, you know, if the wires aren't wearing out, loose, broken, bent. So, you know, it's a good thing you can give your combine a good inspection, and you can find any problems that could arise later down the road that you can fix while you got it apart.
Yeah, I do the same thing too. I've had where I've pulled the top sieve out and the frame is cracked. It took me a day, but after you crack that top sieve, your second one's next, and then you need a shoe, and then you're into $20,000-$30,000, and you're shut down for 2-3 days anyhow. So laziness is, I don't know, sometimes I think most of you guys probably know here what a broken sieve can cost.
Okay, we'll get on to the principles of harvesting now.
Can I add one thing?
Yeah.
How much grain is in your unloading auger?
That's coming, buddy. We're coming to that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing, yeah. It's
Unless you want to go with it now. Go ahead.
well, you go ahead there, Dan. Talk about your...
So I've gotten people, you know, some of my growers, everything's good. We're doing outside clover. We try to do certified. If it's not clean or it's kind of weedy and it's certified, no big deal. You're allowed 1% weed seeds by weight. It's not so much per 25 grams. Everything's beautiful. looks good enough. You're sitting at 5% dockage. Come to dump. The last thing they combined was canola. Now what do? You're not going to Europe with canola. One canola seed in a container comes back. What do? Well, it's pretty simple. You open up the auger because you forgot. Dump about 3, 4, 5, 6 wheelbarrows into the ditch. You lost it, then go dump and hope for the best. But there's different ways to do it. I got people in Manitoba, I think, I forget, one of the directors say they'll go right into wheat or something that's not ready. They'll combine a quarter tank. They'll dump it in a ditch or dump it in a truck for the elevator. I don't know what you do about.
Yeah, I'll blow it out as best as I can, and then will go and I'll flush the combine out with the seed that I'm combining, and I'll dump it in the ditch too.
Bubble up auger is another one.
Bubble up auger, yeah, that's another area where you got to really pay attention to, is in the bubble up auger. In around a clean grain elevator, that's a good place to actually pull the shields off and get inside there and blow that all out clean.
So principles are pretty simple. You got to start. Physics says you start in the front of the combine. You don't start in the back of the combine. If the front isn't working, the back end of the straw chopper is not going to work good. We start with feeding. We were going to talk about moisture and stuff. We're not doing that, or swath. And one comment I do have, between Saskatchewan and Manitoba, even all of Oregon, by the way. I don't know what's wrong with the Peace Country. Maybe I'm the only one. But I just heard, I went to a Manitoba meeting, and they said, hey, we're buying a McDonald's special, grass seed special. Well, that's great. Nicole Anderson talked about it many times. I said, what are you getting, an auger or drape? We're getting a drape. I said, what's so special about it? It's 14 feet wide. We're running now 35-foot swathers. We're taking fescue, we're taking heavy crop, maybe not in the last 2-3 years. We're just piling it all up in one big pile. We get 2 inches of water. You end up with manure in the bottom. It's just not drying. I think we could do a little bit better with our swather adjustments. I don't think we need to go to 35 feet. I sure don't want to go to 35 feet. You get 2 inches of water, and I think 20 feet's too wide. But go ahead.
Yeah, so like when I swath my fescue, I have a 25-foot Macdon. I'll slow down my canvases. I'll try and make that swath as wide as possible so it's not as thick. So if we do get a rain, it tends to dry down a little faster.
We've seen some beautiful white swaths. There, a gentleman from Manitoba that was doing the wheatgrass. That was awesome. And that wasn't a 35-foot swath, I guarantee you that. But that was a beautiful laid-down swath. It wasn't a bunch of beaver huts and stuff like that. Threshing. I'm going to give this one to you. This one is going to be pretty fun. I just want to say we do not work for Bushel Plus. We're not here to sell for Bushel Plus. We happened to see a video. It happened to be, I don't know what they call them, mad concaves or what they're called. But Ken and I just brought that up because the video that gentleman did is perfect in what we're trying to say, because we're really trying to preach the front of the machine, not the back. It starts at the concave. And when we say tight concave, narrow gauge concave, this guy's got they do an awesome job. It's not just them. All kinds of concave, I guess we're reiterating tight wire concaves. If you can't put your little finger through it, you're getting there.
Yeah. Okay.
Put your bolts in, do it up. That's a hard thrust weak concave. Second to that, so this is how we would set up for hard thrash, wheat, canaries, and flax. We have a 225 in the front and a 375 in the second position, this being the front of the combine. I'm going to explain what these numbers represent. Typically, all OEM concaves have a 1/4 inch wire in here. That is 0.25 of the spacing between the wires. 0.225 represents the spacing of this opening in each slat through the thrashing bar. So we're 1/16 under the 1/4 inch. We designed this width and depth specifically so we can catch that crop for a split second. So we're thrashing against the flats as well as the thrashing bar. We've got a dual process thrashing. We can't get through this slot without being thrashed out. So those tips and butts are eliminated because they're being thrashed out through this tight space. So everything coming over this concave is properly thrashed. Second to that, we want to start getting more product out of the rotor. That's why we start opening up this space. So there's no wires to pull, there's no extra wires, there's no any other wire to pull. We simply take 2 bolts, change the concave, we're in good shape.
Oops.
I think that's the end of the first section of
That could
this
be, yeah.
video. Yeah, so this demonstrates the closeness of the rub bars and the plates inside there. This is the concave I do run in my combine. I just put them in last year, and I did my creeping red fescue with it and my smooth and hybrid brome. And with that same configuration there, that 0.225 and that point whatever 31 in the back is, and I didn't have to use no filler plates. They're not designed to use filler plates, them type of concaves, and I found them worked very well. Yeah, they were very easy to set.
Yeah, I like that one too. But I mean, it's like I say, we're not selling that. I think what we're trying to say is get the right concave into the unit for a crop you're doing. I'm going to go on this one before we keep on going. Yeah, I've had guys that ask, "Can you come and we'll pay you come in and give us a hand to set combines?" I go set combines, and all. The first thing I do is I say, "Shut it down. I just want to open the side cover." That's all I can do. Mm-hmm. And you see the big wide wires. They're for beans, peas, and you're trying to do L-site clover. I just tell them, I can't help you. You got the wrong concave in. Well, what are we going to do? Well, you're going to have to buy concaves. You're going to have to spend $5,000. The stuff is worth $2, $3 a pound. Up to you. I can't help you. I really can't, because you can't thrash it right. Same token, you wouldn't put that concave in if you're doing beans or peas. And I've had one gentleman that said, "Can you come and give me a hand to set this unit?" And I said, "Sure." He said, "I got a really good deal on this thing." Got Ritchie Brothers. I get there, open the side. He's got spike tooth concave, spike tooth cylinder. Oh, that's a corn combine. You got a really good deal. Yeah, it's sitting in Western Canada. You got a really good deal. You're done. Carry on.
Yeah, yeah. We could probably play the other video there now.
25,000 acres of these concaves. I'm done my hard thrashing crop. I want to flip over today, and I want to do my canola. I take the hard trash out of the front. This is pretty much an all-crop concave. As I just explained, it's not built to do hard trash crops, but it does everything else. It's a very universal fit. It's a very well-appreciated concave. It has a narrow, wide thrashing bar to catch those easy thrashing crops like shatter-resistant canola, so that we can thrash against this shallow bar to get those pods, to get those berries out of those tough pods. But at the same time, it's being appreciated in other crops: barley, oats, soybeans, peas, corn. Pretty much runs the gamut of anything you could throw at it that's easy to thrash. Very universal concave. So within a few minutes, I've taken my wheat concave out, 35 pounds to change this out, set it on the bar, put this one in, go do the rest of my crops. That being said, we have other fits because we are a custom outfit. I'm going to show you some of the other concaves.
Okay, we can end it there.
Yeah. What, so he says that configuration's good. Don't go back.
We'll just go back.
I'm just wondering why, because I know you do it. I know most people don't do it with, again, physics. Why would you put the wide gauge in the front and the narrow gauge in the back on potted crops?
Yeah.
Because your feeder house is beating the heck out of your potted crops. Half of your canola and half of your peas are thrashed in the feeder house. And you can drop them right away, and then the back ones can finish up opening your pods. Most people think it's the other way like wheat, which it is the other way for wheat, because you're rubbing it harder. It's not beaten up in the feeder house. But for potted crops, agree?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah. Is that the end of that video?
No, and you're
keep
gonna
going.
have the narrow gauge. It's coming.
Okay.
Anything you could throw at it that's easy to thrash. Very universal concave. So within a few minutes, I've taken my wheat concave out, 35 pounds to change this out, set it on the bar, put this one in, go do the rest of my crops. That being said, we have other fits because we are a custom outfit. I'm going to show you some of the other concaves we make. Alfalfa. Designed with the leaf cutter alfalfa associations to get the job done. This was designed with their cooperation. This is the size of the slot that we stopped at. They said this is perfect. It works, it works, it works.
Clover too.
Broken no fix-its, and that's what we're sticking with. We ship those all over the world. We're the only ones in the world that make one specifically for the alfalfa. Next, well, we already showed you the 225. And as you graduate, we can just keep opening up the space. 300, 16th over. 375, 3/8, that's this one. 425, hemp growers, chickpea growers. 500, very large crops. Hemp, for instance. So we make a concave with any of these bars configured throughout the concave. We have it covered. This is your standard package to buy the frame for each side, the 225, the 375, so you're going to get two 225s, two 375s, and two of these fingers. Now, next along the outfit here is the extension.
Yeah, I think we're done here.
We're done. Sorry, Bushel Plus, we're not salesmen, but this gentleman is super great. I guess what we're trying to say is change your concaves. You've seen the clover concaves, you're doing clover, that narrow gauge. A lot of people say, well, we like the pea concaves, and we can put filler plates and blanket. Okay, if you want to lose half the capacity of your threshing area and half the capacity of your combine, I guess go ahead, but you're not going to get that sample in the tank is going to be totally different than what it should be.
Yeah. And then another thing with these, it doesn't matter to whatever concave you have. Just make sure that your level, you got it set level to your rotor or to your cylinder. Square to it, and then you can, you know, and with the newer ones you can adjust your clearances and all that. But just, you know, make sure that everything is running fairly true.
Yeah, I'll go in separation with my comment.
Yeah.
I think you're next, or you're done?
But yeah, I'm done with the concave.
Go for it.
Okay. Well, you can start with the separation there.
We got no pictures for separation, I
Yeah,
don't think,
no,
no.
no.
Pretty, maybe I'll give you the comment, we were discussing Sunday that, you know, it doesn't, if I can repeat it, you're looking in the back of the tank and you got a bunch of crap coming in.
Yeah.
What's the first thing we did? Everybody did.
Yep, everybody does is, we gotta run back to the common, we gotta play with the sieves.
You got to go to the back. There's two things you're going to play with: wind and sieves, wind and sieves, wind and sieves. Grandpa did it. Dad did it. You're going to do it. I've done it. Everybody in here has done it. And where's the problem?
It's right at the concaves again there. so-
It's right at the front of the combine. Don't forget the cart. You got to feed that horse that's in the front. And so cleaning. I've done red, green, yellow, blue with polka dots. I've never done the silver ones. I don't care if they're conventional. I don't care if they're rotaries. The principle's the same. One thing I will say, I know the green ones, I do believe the red ones, I forget. But adjustable pre-sieves, I know the green ones have pre-sieves that aren't adjustable. Take them. Put them in a garbage can. Go get one that's adjustable. They sell it. Trust me, it's worth it. I think you've told me that too, that they're too big, they just plug up. You know,
Yeah, no, what Danny's like, we have a 9610, an old conventional, and we have the pre-sieve on it. It's an adjustable, it's ideal for corn, but I find with it, you have it shut and it just plugs up with straw. It's your straw coming through your concave and everything. So, and then that just affects your wind and everything coming from your fan to your lower sieve.
and you got a wall of material in a
Yeah.
drain pan that's trying to jump over it. And
Yeah, that's right.
everything. Yeah, so
Yeah.
cleaning the sieves, fan speed, everything's the operator's manual. I've asked some growers, I said, where's your book in the cab? And he said, we've never read it. And I just can't believe it. You're running $250,000 and you got a brand new operator's manual that's never been opened. Don't know how to set sieves. We got people, whether it's green line, yellow line, I'm not picking on dealerships or nothing. When people will do that, they'll send it into the dealership and say, get it ready for us. Then you come and set the combine, go set the combine. And I usually go out in my combine, I got a brand new pack of drill bits. Brand new, they don't go in the shop. Round shank, not triangular shank. That's my feeler gauges. All the way to 30 seconds of an inch. And I usually got two sieves side by side. I've seen them that are 1/8 of an inch out. It just come out of the dealership. You just can't trust nobody with these crops that are dollars a pound and not dollars a bushel. That'll work on wheat, barley, oats, probably canola's tough. But that 1/32 of an inch on your bottom sieve can make you at 2% dockage, 5% dockage. And 2% dockage is too clean. Maybe the seed houses will like it, but that's way too clean because you're allowed 98 pure seed. That means you're allowed 2% dockage in your sample to be sold. That 5% is nice. It gives clean out houses are happy, and it gives them something to work with, because if you give them 98% pure seed and they clean it again, you're at 100. What's after 100? We don't know. It's gone in dockage bin. So you're allowed 2% blanks or doubles or stuff like that. That just heads up. Next.
Okay, and then now we're down to straw, the chopping. That's the end of it. It's gone out the combine. That's stuff that you can't recover.
Yeah, that's you guys' trouble. We were mentioning cleaning, and somebody's mentioning baling. And I thought of it for this, that I get along in Forage Sheet, I get along really good with I call him my cowboy, my neighbor. We're talking about cleaning. He does not come into my fields until his baler is blown off, power washed, and the deck trucks aren't coming in until they're blown off. Because I'm sick and tired of picking Timothy and Alsike and I hate picking brome grass and everything else. It's a weed for me.
Yeah.
And so they work very good. They're awesome people. But that's another part of cleaning, because you might not have it now, but you're going to have it in 2 years.
Okay, I'll just move on here. Okay, so you're heading out to the field, your combine, you got it all clean, it's got concaves are all set, sieves are nice level, calibrated, everything's perfect. So you head out to the field. So you're gonna start in the field, whether you're in swaths, straight combining, you need a few people around. Just to start in the combine, you're gonna make your opening round. It's good just to have a person walking beside the combine to see how it's going, how it's flowing off the sieves. You know, seeing how the wind is affecting your mog coming over your sieves, if it's just sliding over the sieves or if it's actually lifting and tumbling, because that's where a lot of seed can be thrown out. It's stuck in that mog. It's not tumbling enough. It's not agitated enough. It can't fall out, so it'll just carry out. And you got that heavy mog going over that top sieve. That air is coming through the bottom sieve. It hits that curtain. What does it do? It goes down. It just reblows your clean seed into your returns. Anything to add, Dan?
Pitch a pan. Yep. I'm not talking the bushel plus right now. That's what I go do. I pitch a pan all day, and it's not the bushel plus. I usually take a canola blank, the white canola blank, and I'll pitch that steady. I'll leave the combines go. I'll give them a portable radio. And if I'm setting somebody else's combine, I know what my combine does. I got a rough idea. Don't have to do it all. Don't do it every year. I'll do one test, that's all. But when I'm setting somebody else's, just keep pitching that pan, and you're trying to bring it lower and lower and lower, and leave them combine, and one setting at a time. That's it, just one setting at a time. Usually go take a look at it. I'm going to let you talk about humidity.
Yep.
That's going to change everything, and especially grass seed. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, okay, yeah, Dan alluded to humidity, you know, conditions in your company. It's different from 10 o'clock in the morning till noon, till 2 o'clock, 4 o'clock. Your humidity's changed, things dry out. Like last fall, we were having a lot of trouble combining our brome grass because of the humidities. We were only getting short days in, like from 3 o'clock till 7 o'clock. And we just couldn't get it any longer. We'd have issues.
Yeah, and I mean, you're going to be changing your RPMs on your cylinder, because that's impact as part of the cracking and stuff. The driest part of the day is 5 o'clock. Everybody wants to have supper. I don't have supper. We slow down our PM 200, and 8 o'clock we re-increase 200, and I mean, then you're flying. But yeah, you can have a lot of broken seed by then. But that's it.
Yeah, and that's another thing there. When you look at your seed, and then you could tell the conditioning of what your combine is doing. Like if you're rubbing it too hard, you're barking it, you're peeling your seed. Or if you don't have enough impact, and you got lots of doubles and unthrashed heads, and if you got lots of straw in your sample, maybe you're just too aggressive.
We're looking at the spike.
Yeah.
If you're dropping it for a bale, go take a look at the back. Everybody says, well, there's a spike there. I love it if there's a full spike, as long as there's no spikelets. If you got perfect rubbing, perfect impact, perfect everything, and the baler's happy, and you're not overloading it with sticks on your sieves and stuff.
Yeah, I'll move on. First round, and things are a mess. And I guess we talked already about that there. You're on thrash heads, high dockage, over thrashing, and you can talk about your caryopsis versus blanks.
I don't know if we still have SGS in the crowd. No, so yeah, what's a blank and what's a full seed without caryopsis inside the outside of it? How do you do it? I think everybody who does fescue crested wheatgrass can look in their hand and tell what's a blank and what isn't. You start hitting brome, yeah, get a little bit tougher, right?
Yeah.
Another nice secret is you take the old 6-volt flashlight, square flashlight, clean lens, no LED, old flashlight, fill the top with seed, turn it on, and go take a look. You'll see the light with the caryopsis. You do native grasses. Caryopsis is extremely hard to see in some of these wheat grasses. Same way, put it on the light, get a light underneath it, you'll see the caryopsis, or else you will be lost because it's translucent, it's clear. So that's one way I do it.
Yeah, and moisture. I wait till things are dry before I combine them. Just makes it so much easier. And just make sure everything is dry and alleviate a lot of problems.
That was the first round. Now what? Fix it before you keep on going. You're going to have a lot happier buyer at the other end when you got 5 to 10% dockage than what you are if you got 30 to 40% dockage. I hear some people still don't have their fescue sold or their crops hauled in yet. It's not very good for the warehouses that have to purchase 40% more warehouse space to hold garbage. I have one hypothesis, I guess there's scientists, I call it hypotheses. After 10% dockage, whether it's clover or I'm going to say all forage seeds. My hypothesis is after you bring in 10%, 50% of that you're throwing out the back. So if you're bringing out 12% in your tank, you're throwing out 1% of your crop out the back. I can just about, you understand that? When you start to hit that 40%, you're pushing it out the back on the tops. It's a mess. It's not thrash. That's number one,
Yeah.
back to the front.
Yeah, and that's what it all alludes to. Not running out to the back and changing that. You got to go back to your front. You got to look at what you're doing. If you're over thrashing or under thrashing, you got to get that so everything is flowing smoothly through that combine. Okay, questions.
Using a catch pan, what percentage of their pounds an acre is acceptable to throw out for a couple of the crops?
I'll start down. Are you talking a catch pan, a bushel plus?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't use a bushel plus when I go set somebody's combine. I'm sorry. I have one. I'm not done. And I do sell them. Like I said, I'll use a canola blank. I'll pitch that thing. I'm not weighing it. I'm getting a visual. I'll take a set of sieves out, hand sieves for the crop I'm using to scalp the crap off the top and drop the fines at the bottom. And I'll measure it with a teaspoon. I'll measure it. I'm just going to take a visual with a teaspoon. If I'm doing, let's say, red clover, I throw that pan, rinse it over, screen it out, and I got a full teaspoon. I think we can do better than that. We can do much better than that. So if I can get my clover that I got a 1/16 of a teaspoon, I can't get it all. I'm sorry, I'm not that perfect. I can't get it all, but that's the best I can get it in most combines. That's clover. Wheat, same thing. If you got 2 seeds, you got 2 seeds. If in a pan, I don't even take a teaspoon out for that. But I mean, you can tell in your pan. If you got a half a handful, there's something going wrong. If you got heads in it, you got white caps, there's something going wrong out the back. Once you got it set, if you got a couple of cracks and maybe 1 kernel, hey, I think we're doing pretty good. Put the catch pan on. Drop the catch pan. Do your math on your app and you'll have a heart attack of what a combine throws out when it's properly. You're still throwing out quite a bit. You're not going to get it all. You're not going to get it all. But if I can put it in your head that 1 acre is 16.5 feet, which is my swather on a half a mile, is 1 acre, one swath. And I'm throwing 50 pounds of product out. Yeah, that's a lot of money. It's $150 an acre at $3. So I want to bring that down, that I don't want to throw out 50 pounds an acre. But I know I'm going to throw out 10. You're not going to keep it all. You're not going to keep it all in wheat. You're not going to keep it all in canola. You're always going to have a 1 to 2% in cereals. They say 1% if you've got a custom combiner, you want them to push a little bit out the back in cereals. But when it comes to forage seed, we're by the pound, man. We're not by the bushel. You wanna try to keep it in and take your time. I think sometimes we push too much.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of time when you're pitching this pan. Cover your monitors. Tell your operators stay at 2.5 miles an hour or whatever you want. Don't start looking at this engine load. Keep it at 60%. No, you don't do that. Worry about that after everything's set and increase your speed a bit. I don't know. Everybody's obsessed with, oh man, I got a big one and we're going to push it to 70%. Well, I'll tell you, I do bluegrass, and that bluegrass is the same weight as the straw. It shouldn't be going out with the straw in the first place. Don't forget what I said. But you're not going to get any separation. It's our maximum speed in bluegrass is mile and a half, 2 miles an hour with a fairly big conventional. That's where it stays.
Any more
SQ
questions?
is different, sorry.
No, any more questions?
John, there's got to be something. Yes, ma'am.
So, taking what you said, it's a nice fall harvest.
Sorry?
Taking what you said, it's a nice fall harvest. What do you do if you're harvesting in winter?
If you're harvesting in the winter.
Same thing. If you're in the snow, been there, done it. Been there and done it with Christmas carols on, wheat. I won't do a forage seed. It's not fun. But if you're at 30, 40 below, you got her beat. If you're at 10 below, you're going to plug your sieves. I'll tell you that. But if you can hit it cold, you're good. So, any other questions? Man, we didn't even argue. You don't have to peel me off the floor.
No.
But I will say, one question. Yes, sir.
Once you're all set, and like we would normally reset our yield loss sensors to 0, do you find you can use the seed loss monitors in the fine seeds?
Yes.
Once you're all set,
Once you're all set.
not to go over the middle bar.
That's why I'll pitch pans, and I can adjust my loss monitors in clover, because it's basically the same bushel weight of canola, it's 10 pounds less. I can bring them down. I don't know if you use them,
Yes,
but I'll screw around with that. That's part of having the fun to see what your monitors will do. And you can in fescues, you can in wheatgrasses, stuff that weighs less than 12 pounds. Bye-bye. You're not going to get a nice reading. You still got to pitch that pan, but once you got it figured out, when you got nothing, or as low as you can. So your question is, yes, you can. Clovers, I can. And can you do it in fescue? And I don't know if you can do it in brome. Is it heavy enough?
Yeah, you can do it in brome, but that's exactly what you do. You determine what you're happy with by pitching your pan. You get your loss measured out, and if you're happy with whatever, say you're throwing out a pound, it works out to a pound an acre or 2 pounds an acre, and you're happy at that. Well, then you set your loss monitor to that.
Yeah, and I think another thing that I learned when you're, especially chaffy stuff, is before you start clean them loss monitors. Don't forget to blow that sensor pad off underneath, because it fills up with crap, and you're going to get a false reading, whether it's on a chopper or rotor in the back or on your sieves. You clean that out. Yeah.
Alrighty.
So, any other? Good, we're done. I guess we can't finish with anything other than, when you're finishing, you're done your combining, you're working for excellence. And I really think that we should be, in an association like this in Fort She Growers, we should be striving for people and equipment and stuff well done, so we do strive for excellence.
Yep, for our integrity of our seed.
Thank you. I just thought I'd put this on for excellence, so go from there.